Thank you very much, Mr. Williams, and greetings, everyone. Today, Sunday, 17th May, is the 48th day of activation of the National Emergency Operations Center and the National Disaster Plan in support of the HEOC. Over the previous 24 hours, there were a total of 18 calls received on the 311 hotline, 18 calls received in St. Kitts, and 0 calls received on Nevis. In St. Kitts at 911, there were a total of 61 calls received, 18 of which were police-related, 5 related to the EMS, 1 to fire and rescue, and once again, disappointingly, 37 prank calls. At the St. Kitts NEOC, there were 7 calls, 4 were requests for permission, 1 health-related call, 1 related to social welfare assistance, and 1 to the EMS. There were 44 calls received at the EOC on Nevis. Now, this coming Wednesday, 20th May, we are asking you to tune in to the NEOC COVID-19 Daily Briefing, which will be a special edition comprising 5 QCs, that's Queen's Counsels, in a panel discussion focusing on COVID-19 and the law. Be sure to tune in, that's Wednesday, the 20th of May, from 5:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. for a very special edition of the NEOC COVID-19 Daily Briefing. During this week, members of the task force will be engaging owners of bars and restaurants in discussions to further look at the resumption and enhancing of protocols for operations going forward. See, we have been listening. Persons who are seeking permission to move during curfew periods are asked to do so with adequate notice to the authorities. That means calling in prior to the time that you would like to be out and about, except in cases of emergency, of course. Today has been deemed the National Day of Prayer for the hurricane season, and accordingly, we are asking persons within communities to begin to think about their preparedness actions, as this season has been forecast to be an above average season. In fact, I had an interview recently with Elmo Burke, Senior Met Officer from SCASPA, who said they think it might even be hyperactive. So we need to start thinking about our own preparedness, and of course NEMA will be continuing to mobilize committees and to ensure that the infrastructure for your safety and security is in place. We began a tree cutting exercise, I think, last year, and we have been doing it ongoing over the years, but last year we sort of ramped it up with the assistance of HMP, Her Majesty's Prison. At this time, we are asking persons to take a little look at your own properties, as we are unable to continue the program at this time. So we are asking persons to try to make arrangements to not cut entirely trees down, as the AG reminded me that that is not what we really want, but to prune them so that they do not become missiles in the advent of high winds during a storm or hurricane. We wish to appeal to the general public once again that we are still experiencing a pandemic. It's unreasonable that we have to remind persons of that, but we are asking you not to become complacent and to continue to adhere to all advisories and safety warnings that are issued by the relevant authorities. All nationals in the diaspora that wish to return to St. Kitts and Nevis are asked to get in contact with their nearest overseas missions for information to make those trips a reality. We continue to receive requests for repatriation flights, and the NEOC is processing them in accordance with the regulations. We are appealing to businesses once again to continue to adhere to the regulations. Please note that the Compliance Task Force will resume operations from tomorrow, Monday, 18th May 2020, from 8 a.m. to ensure that businesses are in compliance with the statutory rules and orders of the Emergency Powers COVID-19 regulations. A draft policy document will be circulated to the faith-based religious leaders, including members of the Christian Council and Evangelical Association in St. Kitts and Nevis, to discuss the resumption of church services. Once again, we want to thank everyone who has contributed in any way to the broadcast of this daily briefing and, in fact, to the fight against COVID-19 within the Federation. Thank you so much and have a blessed evening.